Hello petrol heads and welcome back to my channel. So today we are in my messy garage. It is the hottest day of the year so far in the UK, so it's quite a poignant time to actually be talking about engine thermal management. So thermal management of the engine bay, because what have I done? Well, for my M340i B58 I've invested in the Funk B58 Turbo Blanket kit. So it consists of two parts, well three if you include the install kit. So this is the turbo blanket itself. So this is made from a carbon fibre weave, a mesh interior, and it's made from composites such as lava rock and things like that. So this, the Funk Motorsports supply this as an inside out. They supply in a a brownie finish, which is similar to the inside, and also this upgrade. You can pay a little bit more to have this carbon fibre finish. Now I think this carbon fibre finish just looks the best. And I've got carbon fibre under my engine bay, so it makes sense to follow suit. So if you're not familiar with a turbo blanket and what it does, is a turbo blanket is designed to retain heat in the turbo and keep the heat away from other components, such as cables, such as your air inlet. So for example, I've got an exposed filter in my car, and where the turbo and also the manifold are situated is very, very close to that inlet. So what you find is, especially if you're going on track days or you're going to quarter-mile events such as Santa Pod, is your car sat there for quite a while generating heat because you've got it turned on, and that heat has a detrimental effect on the performance. So the idea of a turbo blanket is to keep the heat inside the turbo. Now I always thought, oh well, if you're going to keep in the heat into the turbo, you're going to damage it. But what studies show that have been done is that a turbo blanket, because it retains the heat inside the turbo, it actually aids its spooling quicker and also ensures that the heat and the gases are going where they should be. But like I say, the idea here is to keep the heat into the turbo and the heat out of the other critical components. So you might be thinking, I mentioned this had two pieces. There's this other big piece here. Now if you're familiar with the B58 engines, they have a manifold which links pretty much straight to the turbo, very, very short distance, which is great for spooling, great for performance. So this piece here is actually the manifold wrap. So this wrap sits in front of the manifold there, which sticks out like that, and again it stops the heat coming out the manifold, because that manifold is actually, as you expect, it's higher up and it's closer to critical components such as the air inlet, such as it's closer to wires, cables, auxiliary parts that you want to keep heat away from. So this kit obviously gives you the ability to attach and blanket the manifold and the turbo itself. And then these retaining clips simply hook on these lugs here. In this case, this goes on there, through the back of there, down here and onto there, and that's obviously wrapping around the manifold and locking it in place. So pretty straightforward and easy to install. Just uses these hook clips here. Now it doesn't matter if you've got a B58, B48, whatever car you're running, Funk Motorsport do a turbo blanket for you, and these are best of breed. You can go on their website and have a look at some of the videos where they've done testing, fire testing, thermal imaging testing against the competition, and they seem solid. They seem very well made. These stitching's really well done. It's really well seamed. It's well padded. It's very, very professional finished turbo blankets. So this is for thermal heat management when the car's stationary. I'm also getting an uprated radiator, so a double-sized radiator is going on, and also I'm getting a transmission upgraded cooler as well. So I'm going to manage the thermals when the car's stationary, and then the idea is to give maximum thermal control when the car's moving through an uprated manifold, through an uprated radiator, and then also uprated transmission cooler. So loads more to come on the car, loads more what to do to get my B58 where I want it, my M340i. So stay tuned to this channel. But I hope that was a good introduction to you as to what a turbo blanket is, what's available for the B58, in my case my M340i, and maybe something you haven't really thought about, you know, heat management and how you want to deal with that. Something else I've got as well, it hasn't turned up, is I've ordered some heat wrap, which again is based on lava rock, and I'm going to wrap the downpipe, because you have your manifold to your obviously turbo, and then the downpipe's really close to that. So again, I'm going to wrap the downpipe to minimise heat going into that engine bay. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more.